Margaret Talev of Bloomberg News.
Thank you. Mr. President, tomorrow you'll see President Putin at the G20 with Russia and U.S. relations seriously strained. Do you see value in trying to persuade him still to drop opposition to a Syrian strike? Or are your efforts now aimed at excluding Russia from the decision? And looking back at your hopes for a reset, do you believe that you overestimated what you could change, or do you believe that Mr. Putin changed the rules midway? If you will indulge me, I have one more, but it's all related.
I will indulge you.
Thank you.
To let you ask the question, I may not answer it, but go ahead.
Could you take us behind the scenes on that 45-minute walk around the South Lawn where you changed your mind and decided to take this before Congress? And Mr. Prime Minister.
Oh, goodness. Margaret, you're really pressing things now. So this is question number 4 now.
No, this is for the Prime Minister.
I see.
You have expressed some doubts about military action in Syria, and I'm wondering if you could be a little bit more specific about what you're concerned the consequences may be, and whether you believe that President Putin has any shares any burden of the responsibility for Mr. Assad's actions. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to try to remember all this. First of all, the reset in the Russian relationship was not done on a whim. There were specific U.S. interests that I believed we could pursue with Russia, where interests overlapped, that would help us both on our long-term national security and our economy. And we succeeded. We succeeded in passing a New START treaty that reduced nuclear stockpiles for both the United States and Russia. Russia joined the WTO, which bound them to a set of international rules governing trade, which I think ultimately will be good for the Russian economy, but is also good for its trading partners and potential companies that are investing in Russia, and that includes U.S. companies. We work together on counterterrorism issues. They have provided us significant assistance in supplying our troops in Afghanistan. There were a whole host of outcomes from that reset that were valuable to the United States. Now, there's no doubt that, as I indicated a while back, we've kind of hit a wall in terms of additional progress. But I have not written off the idea that the United States and Russia are going to continue to have common interests, even as we have some very profound differences on some other issues. And where our interests overlap, we should pursue common action. Where we've got differences, we should be candid about them, try to manage those differences, but not sugarcoat them. One area where we've got a significant difference right now is the situation in Syria. Russia has a long-standing relationship with the Assad regime, and as a consequence, it has been very difficult to get Russia working through the Security Council to acknowledge some of the terrible behavior of the Assad regime and to try to push towards the kind of political transition that's needed in order to stabilize Syria. And I've said to Mr. Putin directly, and I continue to believe, that even if you have great concerns about elements in the opposition, and we've got some concerns about certain elements of the opposition like al-Nusra, and even if you're concerned about the territorial integrity of Syria, and we're concerned about the territorial integrity of Syria, if you in fact want to end the violence and slaughter inside of Syria, then you're going to have a political transition, because it is not possible for Mr. Assad to regain legitimacy in a country where he's killed tens of thousands of his own people. That will not happen. So far, at least, Mr. Putin has rejected that logic. As far as Security Council action, we have gone repeatedly to the Security Council for even the most modest of resolutions condemning some of the actions that have taken place there, and it has been resisted by Russia. And do I hold out hope that Mr. Putin may change his position on some of these issues? I'm always hopeful, and I will continue to engage him because I think that international action would be much more effective, and ultimately we can end deaths much more rapidly if Russia takes a different approach to these problems. In terms of my decision to take the issue to Congress, this had been brewing in my mind for a while. Some people had noted, and I think this is true, that had I been in the Senate in the midst of this period, I probably would have suggested to a Democratic or a Republican president that Congress should have the ability to weigh in on an issue like this that is not immediate, imminent, time sensitive. When the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mr. Dempsey, indicated to me that whether we struck today, tomorrow, or a month from now, we could still do so effectively, then I think that raised the question of why not ask Congress to debate this in a serious way. Because I do think it raises issues that are going to occur for us and for the international community for many years to come. I mean, the truth of the matter is that under international law, Security Council resolution or self-defense or defense of an ally provides a clear basis for action. But increasingly what we're going to be confronted with are situations like Syria, like Kosovo, like Rwanda, in which we may not always have a Security Council that can act. It may be paralyzed for a whole host of reasons. And yet we've got all these international norms that we're interested in upholding. We may not be directly, imminently threatened by what's taking place in a Kosovo or a Syria or a Rwanda in the short term, but our long-term national security will be impacted in a profound way, and our humanity is impacted in a profound way. And so I think it's important for us to get out of the habit in those circumstances. Again, I'm not talking about circumstances where our national security is directly impacted, we've been attacked, etc., where the President has to act quickly. But in circumstances of the type that I described, it's important for us to get out of the habit of just saying, well, we'll let the President kind of stretch the boundaries of his authority as far as he can. Congress will sit on the sidelines, snipe. If it works, the sniping will be a little less. If it doesn't, a little more. But either way, the American people and their representatives are not fully invested in what are tough choices. And we as a country and the world are going to start having to take tough choices. I do get frustrated, although I understand how complex this is. And anytime you're involving military action, then people will ask, well, this may do more harm than good. I understand those arguments. I wrestle with them every day. But I do have to ask people, well, if in fact you're outraged by the slaughter of innocent people, what are you doing about it? And if the answer is, well, we should engage diplomatically, well, we've engaged diplomatically. The answer is, well, we should shine the spotlight and shame these governments. Well, these governments oftentimes show no shame. Well, we should act internationally. Well, sometimes because of the various alignments, it's hard to act through a Security Council resolution. And so Either we resign ourselves to saying there's nothing we can do about it, and we'll just shake our heads and go about our business, or we make decisions even when they're difficult. And I think this is an example of where we need to make decisions even though they're difficult, and I think it's important for Congress to be involved in that decision.